Gather round, you necro-nostalgic numbskulls. Tonight's tale is family-oriented, and by that I mean it's rotting from the inside. We've all heard about the deadbeat dad, haven't we? But what if dear old daddy beats death and keeps showing up for dinner? In this story, we meet a daughter who just wanted her pop to stop working and spend some time at home. She got her wish, but now he's starting to smell a little off. So grab your shovels, kiddies, and don't mind the worms. They're just here for the plot. This family drama's got guts, literally, and it's called Walking Dad.
Every night at 7:43 p.m., the front door creaked open, and every night Maggie heard the same words from the hallway. "I'm home. Sorry I'm late. You know how traffic gets." Except Maggie's father had died 6 days ago. It happened on a Tuesday. He was pacing through downtown, glued to a conference call, barking numbers and acronyms into his Bluetooth earpiece. He didn't see the caution tape, didn't hear the warning shouts. One moment he was pitching quarterly projections, the next he was gone, swallowed whole by an open manhole like the earth itself had finally had enough. They found him hours later. His Bluetooth earpiece was embedded into the side of his skull. At the funeral, no one mentioned how ironic it was that the man who couldn't stop working had literally walked into his own grave. Closed casket funeral, cheap flowers, but that didn't stop him. He still came home. Still wore the same gray suit, though it now hung a little looser, probably from the rot. Still kissed her forehead, though his lips were cold and left a faint smear of dirt. Still reheated leftovers, even though he no longer chewed. He sat on the couch, turned on the news, complained about politics, like always. Maggie would sit beside him and nod along, pretending not to see the fingernail that fell off mid-rant, pretending not to hear the fluid shifting when he laughed. He still laughed. It just echoed now, like there was something hollow behind it. She did everything she could to keep the house clean. Lemon-scented candles, air purifiers, incense from the occult store on 9th Street. But the smell still crawled in, like old leaves and wet meat and burnt electricity. Maggie told herself, it's fine, he's here. That's all she ever wanted. When Maggie was 9, her dad missed her birthday because of a conference in Denver. When she was 12, he forgot to pick her up from her piano recital, stranded her in the rain while he was stuck in a meeting. By 15, she'd stopped asking for anything at all, just waited for the sound of his car in the driveway. Sometimes it came, sometimes it didn't. He was never cruel, never raised his voice. He just wasn't there. Always chasing promotions. Just a few more years, he'd say, then we can relax. He was still saying it now, even as his left eye drooped out of the socket and the buttons of his shirt stuck to his chest with decay. Almost there, Mags. Gonna turn the corner soon. Big break. Just wait. Maggie smiled, and in the basement, hidden beneath old blankets and loose bricks, was the book she'd used. It wasn't even a real bookstore, just a kiosk wedged between a vape shop and an abandoned shoe store. But the old woman who ran it had eyes like shadows and smelled like thunderstorms. She gave Maggie a paperback called We Never Really Leave, Returning the Ones Who Left Too Soon. Told her to feed it something from the bones and recite the verse during the hour of the echo. Maggie found his old toothbrush, the one he'd kept in his suitcase for travel. Still had one bristle stained with blood from years ago. She said the words, lit the match, cut her thumb, waited by the window until 7:43. And then the door creaked open. At first it was perfect. He made her breakfast, told her stories from work, sat with her through her favorite trivia show even. But he started to forget things. Small things, like how to hold a spoon, or that he wasn't supposed to leak. Then the cat vanished, and the trash bins overflowed with fur and something fleshy and putrid. She asked him if he'd seen Mr. Pickles. Maybe he ran off, he said, licking something off his wrist. Cats are so unpredictable. She tried to convince herself it was fine. Just decomposition, stress, ghost gaslighting, until she found the bite mark on her shoulder. Deep, purple, still warm. That night, she sat him down. "Dad," she said, voice cracking, "you're dead." He paused, a long silence. The TV buzzed in the background, a nature documentary showing lions eating a wildebeest. He looked down at his hands, flexed them. One finger snapped at the joint and hung loose. "I know, sweetheart," he whispered. "I know." "Then why are you still here?" "Because you called me, and I didn't want to disappoint you again." Tears welled up in Maggie's eyes. She reached for him. He flinched. "But I'm not right, baby. I'm hungry. All the time. It's not food. It's not even pain. It's absence. Something's missing. Something I can't get back." "I thought if you stayed, we'd be happy." "I stayed," he said, "but now I need." She looked at him, really looked. There was nothing behind his eyes now. No light, just a swirl of memories and mold. His love hadn't faded, but something else had taken root alongside it. The next day, he didn't go to work, just sat in the kitchen, chewing slowly on something Maggie didn't recognize. His tie was a strip of caution tape. His shoes were damp with soil. Maggie opened the ritual book again, page 42. To bury what should not have risen. She needed 3 things. Something he loved, something he lost, something that still remembers. She placed the old wristwatch he gave her on the table, still ticking. She pulled out his broken briefcase, stained with blood and coffee. Then she brought the mirror, one they used to share in the bathroom. He looked into it, and the mirror fogged with rot. "I don't want to go," he said. "I know," she whispered, "but you're already gone." She kissed his forehead one last time. "Good night, Daddy." The door no longer creaks at 7:43. The house is quiet, too quiet. But sometimes, when Maggie walks past the closet, she hears breathing. Sometimes the mirror still fogs, even when she's alone. And every once in a while, she sets a plate at the table, just in case. Because grief doesn't go away, it waits. And Maggie, she's already been reading new books, the kind that don't bring people back whole, but make them stay.
Wasn't that a heartwarming tale? Nothing says I love you quite like Dad reanimating his corpse and feeding him the cat. But hey, you can't spell family without fatal mistake, right? So the next time you wish your parents would spend more time at home, be careful what you wish back, because some dads don't quit, even when rigor mortis sets in. That's all for tonight's terrifying tale, kiddies. Until next time, sleep tight and don't let the dad bite.